Your mind is stronger than every challenge you face, but only if you take control of it. These 10 Stoic lessons will show you how to master your emotions, stay calm under pressure, and become unshakable. When life becomes loud, chaotic, and overwhelming, the greatest strength you can develop is the strength of your own mind. The world will always test you. People will disappoint you, circumstances will shift, challenges will strike without warning. But nothing has the power to control you unless you hand that power away. These are 10 Stoic lessons to help you build a mind that is unshakable and emotions that stay under your command. 1. Control what you can. Release what you cannot. Most suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. The weather, other people, the past, the future, none of these bend to your will. Stoicism teaches one thing: your energy belongs to your actions, not outcomes. When you focus on what's in your control, life becomes lighter, calmer, and clearer. 2. Your thoughts shape your reality. Everything you experience is filtered through your mind. Two people can face the same event and walk away with different stories because it's the interpretation that creates emotional impact. Train your mind to choose stronger thoughts. You don't control events, but you control the meaning. 3. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger, anxiety, envy, sadness. They rise like waves, but waves pass. Stoicism teaches that emotions are information, not orders. Feel them, observe them, but don't obey them blindly. A strong mind lets emotions knock at the door without letting them take control of the house. 4. Discipline is freedom. A calm life is not created by chance. It is built through habits, routines, and self-control. When you discipline your mind, you free yourself from impulses, addictions, and chaos. Freedom is not the absence of restraint, it is the mastery of self. 5. Hardships are training. Every challenge is shaping you. Every difficulty is strengthening you. Stoicism teaches that obstacles are not interruptions to your life. They are part of the path. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can this make me stronger?" Your mind grows in the same way muscles do, through resistance. Don't depend on external validation. Most people stay emotionally weak because they rely on approval, praise, or attention from others. Stoicism teaches that your worth cannot come from the outside. A stable mind stands firm even when criticized, ignored, or misunderstood. The strongest person is the one who validates themselves. 7. Pause before reacting. A single moment of silence can save you from hours of regret. When you pause, you choose reason over impulse. You choose clarity over anger. You choose control over chaos. The pause is power. Use it. 8. Accept impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Not success, not failure, not pain, not pleasure. When you accept the temporary nature of all things, you stop clinging, fearing, and resisting. You learn to appreciate without attachment and let go without suffering. 9. Live in the present moment. The mind loves to wander to the past where nothing can be changed, or the future where nothing is guaranteed. Stoicism brings you back to the only place that truly exists: now. Your power is here, your decisions are here, your life is here. 10. Become the master of yourself. The ultimate Stoic lesson is this: you cannot control the world, but you can control yourself. You can choose what happens, but you can choose how you respond. Strength is not found in domination, but in self-mastery. When you rule your mind, your emotions follow. When you rule your inner world, the outer world loses its power over you. This is your path, a mind trained in clarity, a heart trained in calm, a life built on principles, not impulses. Walk this path every day, and you will become someone that no chaos, no struggle, and no person can break. To control what you can and release what you cannot is one of the deepest mental shifts a person can make. It is the foundation of emotional stability, inner strength, and peace. Most of the suffering people experience doesn't come from the actual events in their lives, but from resisting them, fighting them, or wishing they were different. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. There are parts of life that will never bend to your will. Weather changes, people behave unpredictably, outcomes don't always match your effort, and the past cannot be altered no matter how much you replay it in your mind. When you place your energy on these things, you waste your power, but when you root your attention in what you can control, your choices, your reactions, your mindset, you immediately reclaim your strength. Imagine waking up each day with a limited amount of energy. Wherever you place it determines the quality of your life. When you use that energy to worry about what others think of you, you weaken yourself. When you use it to complain about circumstances you cannot influence, you give away your sense of control. When you obsess over outcomes, success, approval, praise, recognition, you tie your emotional state to things that are unstable and unpredictable. But the moment you redirect that energy toward your own actions, everything changes. You cannot control whether people appreciate your work, but you can control the quality of your effort. You cannot force someone to treat you well, but you can choose your boundaries, your responses, and how much access they have to your inner world. You cannot make life fair, but you can choose to act with integrity no matter what you face. This mindset frees you. It removes unnecessary emotional weight. It allows you to stay steady even when life becomes chaotic. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming a creator of your own path. When something outside your control disrupts your plans, traffic, delays, criticism, unexpected problems, you respond from a place of clarity instead of frustration. You remind yourself, this is not mine to fix, but my reaction is. And suddenly the situation loses its power over you. This principle becomes even more powerful when applied to the past and future. You cannot control what has already happened. The mistakes, the losses, the words spoken, the decisions made. Torturing yourself with "if only" changes nothing. The past is fixed, but the meaning you give it is not. You control whether you see it as a weight or a lesson, a punishment or a teacher. The future, just like the past, is not fully in your hands. You can prepare, plan, and work, but you cannot guarantee outcomes. Obsessing about what might happen traps you in fear. The purpose of planning is clarity, not control. You're responsible for effort, not destiny. There is incredible peace in recognizing limits, not as weakness, but as wisdom. When you say, "I will give my best and let the rest unfold," you liberate yourself from anxiety and disappointment. You become more effective, not less, because your mind is focused, not scattered. You are able to give full attention to the present moment, where your true power lies. This principle does not mean apathy or passivity. It is not about giving up. It is about giving your energy only to the things that deserve it. It is the discipline of balance. Act where you have influence, accept where you do not, and remain calm throughout. A strong mind understands the difference, and a strong life is built on that understanding. Your thoughts are the lens through which you experience the entire world. Two people can go through the exact same situation and walk away feeling completely different, not because the event itself was good or bad, but because of the interpretation each person created in their mind. This is the power of thought. It can lift you or destroy you. It can give you strength or drain you of it. It can calm your emotions or throw you into chaos. The world outside may not be under your control, but the world inside, your inner narrative, your perceptions, your judgments, is yours to shape. Most people don't realize how much their thinking influences their suffering. They believe their stress is caused by circumstances, when in reality it is often caused by the story they tell themselves about those circumstances. A delay becomes "my whole day is ruined." A mistake becomes "I'm a failure." A rejection becomes "nothing ever works out for me." The thought, not the event, creates the emotional storm. When you understand this, you gain something priceless: the ability to rewrite your experience of life. Training your thoughts does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing a perspective that serves you instead of harms you. It means asking yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? It means recognizing when your mind is exaggerating, assuming, or catastrophizing, and then pulling it back to reality. A calm, disciplined mind does not give every thought permission to stay. It filters, questions, and redirects. You cannot always choose your first thought. Sometimes it appears automatically, shaped by old habits, fears, and experiences. But you can always choose your second thought, the one you used to correct and guide the first. You can replace "this is impossible" with "this is challenging, but I can find a way." You can shift "I can't handle this" to "I've handled difficult things before." You can turn "why is this happening to me" into "what can I learn from this?" The more you practice this mental shift, the stronger your mind becomes. Thoughts are like seeds. Plant negative ones, and your life fills with weeds. Plant empowering ones, and your life grows with clarity and resilience. Your external reality doesn't need to change for your internal world to become peaceful. It begins with awareness. Every time you feel emotional heaviness, step back and observe the thought behind it. Ask yourself, is the situation really this bad, or am I adding extra suffering through my thinking? Often the answer reveals how much control you actually have. When you understand the power of your thoughts, you stop reacting blindly to life. You begin responding with intention. You no longer see obstacles as personal attacks, but as challenges you are capable of facing. You stop seeing people's behavior as reflections of your worth, and instead see it as their own struggle, separate from you. You stop turning small problems into large ones through fear-driven imagination. A disciplined mind becomes a shield. It protects you from unnecessary emotional pain. It frees you from overthinking. It brings you back to the present moment instead of dragging you into the past or pushing you into the future. Your thoughts determine the quality of your emotions, and your emotions determine the quality of your decisions. When you think clearly, you live clearly. Your life does not improve by chance. It improves when you train your mind to serve you instead of sabotage you. A strong mind is not one that never experiences negative thoughts. It's one that refuses to let those thoughts control the direction of your life. And once you gain this mastery, you begin to realize that true freedom is not found outside, it is created in the quiet space of your own thinking. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They rise suddenly, often without warning, like waves moving through the ocean. They can be powerful, overwhelming, confusing, and sometimes frightening. But one of the greatest realizations you can have is this: emotions are signals, not commands. They are messages from within, not orders that must be obeyed. The problem is that most people let their emotions drive every reaction, every decision, and every moment of their lives. When anger appears, they strike out. When anxiety rises, they retreat. When jealousy surfaces, they react impulsively. This is how emotions take control, not because they are strong, but because we never learned how to observe them without being ruled by them. A strong mind does not reject emotions, it understands them. Emotions are information. They tell you when something feels unfair, unsafe, uncomfortable, or uncertain, but they are not meant to dictate your behavior. They are like alarms, useful but not always accurate. An alarm can go off even when there's no real danger. In the same way, emotions can flare up even when the situation doesn't deserve the intensity you feel. When you learn to pause and watch your emotions instead of acting through them, you gain a level of strength most people never reach. Think about the times you reacted instantly out of anger. Maybe you said something you regretted or made a decision that created more trouble than the problem itself. In those moments, anger wasn't the issue, your automatic reaction was. Or consider fear. How many times has fear stopped you from doing something meaningful, even though the fear was only a story created by your mind? Fear rarely protects us from real danger. It mostly protects us from discomfort. But if you live your life obeying fear, you lock yourself inside invisible walls. The goal is not to suppress emotions. Suppression only makes them stronger beneath the surface. The goal is to recognize them, sit with them, and choose your response consciously. When sadness comes, acknowledge it without letting it drown you. When frustration rises, breathe through it instead of exploding. When envy appears, study what it is pointing to, usually an unfulfilled desire or insecurity. When you treat emotions as teachers instead of enemies, they stop controlling you and start guiding you. This kind of emotional awareness creates emotional stability. You stop reacting to every feeling as if it were the ultimate truth. You start becoming curious instead of defensive. You start saying, this feeling is here, but it does not decide who I am or how I behave. That single shift transforms your life. Your relationships become healthier because you no longer react impulsively. Your decisions become wiser because you are not basing them on temporary feelings. Your inner life becomes calmer because you are no longer fighting emotions, you are understanding them. Imagine walking through life with the ability to remain steady even when emotions surge. Not cold or emotionless, but composed and purposeful. That is emotional strength. It doesn't come from pretending not to feel. It comes from not letting feelings take the wheel. Emotions are passengers, not drivers. When you gain control over your emotions, you gain control over your life. You stop allowing outside events, rude people, unexpected problems, or negative energy to dictate your mood. You stop being a slave to irritation, fear, jealousy, or sadness. You become grounded, you lead yourself, you move from reaction to response, from chaos to clarity. This is what creates true power, the ability to feel deeply without losing your sense of direction. The ability to understand emotions without letting them override reason. The ability to stay calm in situations that would break most people. When you reach this level of emotional mastery, life no longer shakes you the way it used to. You don't avoid emotions, you rise above them. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many imagine it as strict rules, harsh routines, or a kind of punishment. But in truth, discipline is one of the greatest forms of freedom a person can experience. It frees you from chaos, from emotional instability, from procrastination, from unhealthy habits, and from the constant pull of impulses. Discipline is not about restricting your life, it's about taking command of it. It is the structure that allows your mind to stay focused, your emotions to stay balanced, and your goals to take shape in the real world. Without discipline, even the strongest intentions remain just intentions. With discipline, even ordinary actions become powerful steps toward a better life. When you build discipline, you are training your mind to work for you instead of against you. Think about the moments when your impulses have led you astray, the urge to avoid responsibilities, the desire to give in to anger, the temptation to seek comfort instead of growth. These impulses may feel small in the moment, but they shape the direction of your life. If you follow them blindly, they create a path of regret, lost potential, and emotional instability. But when you practice discipline, you interrupt these automatic responses. You choose long-term peace over short-term pleasure. You choose stability over impulse. You choose growth over comfort. A disciplined mind is calm because it knows what matters. It does not get lost in distractions or emotional storms. It does not chase approval, waste energy on unnecessary conflict, or fall apart when life becomes difficult. Discipline gives you a sense of control, real, grounded, powerful control that comes from within. It's not about forcing yourself harshly, it's about guiding yourself wisely. It's the quiet voice inside that says, stay focused, do the right thing, or let's keep going, even when you don't feel like it. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. Every small act of self-control strengthens your mental muscles. Every time you choose patience over anger, you grow. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you grow. Every time you resist an unhealthy habit, you grow. These small victories may seem insignificant, but over time they build a version of you that is resilient, grounded, and deeply confident. The person who practices discipline becomes someone they can trust, someone who does not crumble under pressure or lose themselves in emotion. Discipline also protects you from regret. So much emotional pain comes from not doing what you know you should have done. When you let procrastination, laziness, or fear win, you feel a heaviness inside later. But when you practice discipline and take action, finish a task, improve yourself, work on your goals, manage your reactions, you experience peace. You stop feeling guilty or behind. You stop wishing that things were different because you are actively shaping them. Another powerful aspect of discipline is its effect on emotional control. A disciplined person does not lash out easily, does not get manipulated by others, and does not allow sudden emotions to dictate their behavior. Discipline creates a space between the feeling and the reaction. It gives you time to think, reflect, and choose the response that aligns with your values. That space is where true strength lives. Even in difficult moments, discipline keeps you steady. When challenges arise, you don't fall apart because you've trained yourself to stay grounded. You don't fear hard work because you've already built the habit of showing up. You don't feel lost because discipline has created structure, clarity, and direction in your life. In the end, discipline is not about forcing yourself to do unpleasant things. It is about building the life you truly want. It is the foundation of freedom, freedom from emotional chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from weakness, and freedom from the patterns that once held you back. With discipline, you become the architect of your future and the master of your inner world. Hardship is something every human encounters, yet very few understand its true purpose. Most people see difficulty as a punishment, an obstacle, or an interruption to the life they want to live. But hardship is not here to break you. It is here to build you. It is the training ground for your strength, the classroom where resilience is taught, and the forge where character is shaped. Without challenge, you remain soft. Without resistance, you never grow. Life does not test you to see you fail. It tests you to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. Every challenge you face is a form of training. When you lift weights, your muscles grow only because they encounter resistance. If the weight is too light, nothing changes. If the weight is challenging, your body adapts and becomes stronger. The same is true for your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. When life places a burden on you, it is your opportunity to build endurance. When life pushes you down, it is your opportunity to rise higher. Hardship is not blocking your path, it is the path. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed, scared, or uncertain. In that moment, you probably wished the struggle would disappear. But once you made it through, you emerged wiser, stronger, and more capable. Problems you once feared became problems you could now handle easily. That transformation didn't happen despite the hardship. It happened because of it. Every storm you survive teaches you how to withstand the next one with greater strength and less fear. People often believe that a peaceful life is one without difficulty, but the truth is the opposite. Peace does not come from avoiding hardship. It comes from becoming strong enough that hardship no longer controls you. When you understand that adversity is training, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a warrior being prepared for greater battles. Each challenge becomes a lesson, each setback becomes a step forward, and each painful moment becomes a teacher. Hardship also reveals your true priorities. When life becomes tough, the unnecessary things fall away. You stop wasting time on trivial distractions. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop chasing things that don't matter. Instead, you focus on what is real, what is meaningful, and what is within your control. Difficulty clarifies your path. It strips away illusions and forces you to confront yourself honestly, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, and your potential. There's also a hidden power in hardship. It develops emotional stability. When you go through difficulty and survive it, your mind becomes tougher. Things that used to trigger you no longer shake you. Comments that once hurt you no longer matter. Problems that once terrified you now feel manageable. Adversity teaches you how to stay calm in chaos. It trains your emotions to remain steady even when your circumstances are stormy. This kind of inner strength cannot be learned from books or comfort. It must be earned through experience. Another lesson hardship teaches is humility. When everything is easy, people become careless, entitled, or blind to their own weaknesses. Difficulty reminds you that you are human, that you must keep learning, keep working, and keep improving. Hardship keeps your ego in check and your character grounded. It teaches gratitude, because once you endure pain, you appreciate peace more deeply. Once you struggle, you value progress. Once you lose, you cherish what you still have. Most importantly, hardship shows you that you can survive far more than you think. When you face something painful and come out the other side, a new kind of confidence is born. A quiet, powerful confidence that says, I can handle this. I have handled worse. That belief becomes your armor. It protects you from fear and doubt. It empowers you to take on bigger dreams, bigger challenges, and a bigger life. In the end, hardship is not your enemy. It is your greatest instructor. It is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, calmer, and more resilient. When you stop running from difficulty and start learning from it, you transform every struggle into strength and every setback into progress. That is the true power of hardship. It doesn't just test you, it transforms you. Depending on others for validation is one of the most common ways people lose control of their emotions. When your sense of worth is tied to someone else's approval, you place your peace in the hands of something unstable, unpredictable, and temporary. Praise makes you feel good, criticism destroys you, and silence leaves you anxious. This emotional dependency becomes a trap where you constantly monitor how others see you instead of focusing on who you truly are. But true strength begins the moment you stop seeking permission to feel good about yourself. When you no longer wait for others to validate your value, you become steady, grounded, and emotionally independent. Many people don't realize how deeply they are controlled by the opinions of others. A small criticism can ruin their day. A lack of attention can make them feel invisible. Someone's disapproval can make them question themselves, their dreams, and even their identity. This happens because they have trained their minds to rely on external voices instead of their inner voice. But relying on external validation is like trying to build a house on sand, shaky, unstable, and easily destroyed. The truth is that you cannot control what others think of you. People's judgments are shaped by their own insecurities, experiences, fears, and biases. Their approval or disapproval often has nothing to do with your actual worth. When you depend on them for validation, you hand them the power to shape your emotions. You give strangers, critics, or even loved ones the ability to decide whether you feel proud, ashamed, happy, or insecure. This is a fragile way to live. Emotional strength comes from building your self-worth internally. It comes from knowing who you are, what you value, and what you stand for, regardless of who notices or praises you. When you validate yourself, you no longer crumble under disapproval. You no longer chase attention or fear being misunderstood. Your inner stability becomes unshakable because it is built on something real, your own judgment, your own intentions, your own growth. This doesn't mean you reject all feedback or close yourself off from others. It means you filter it through your own wisdom instead of absorbing it blindly. You learn to ask, is this feedback helpful? Is it true? Does it align with my values? If the answer is no, you let it go. If the answer is yes, you use it to grow. Not because someone's opinion defines you, but because you choose improvement for your own sake. When you stop depending on external validation, your confidence changes. It becomes quieter, stronger, and more stable. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer feel pressured to perform for others or meet unrealistic expectations. You become comfortable in your own skin. This kind of confidence is not loud, it is steady. It does not need approval because it is rooted in authenticity. One of the biggest gifts of self-validation is emotional freedom. You stop taking things personally. You stop letting people's moods or opinions dictate your day. You stop apologizing for being yourself. You stop comparing your life to others, because you understand that your worth isn't measured by attention, popularity, or social status. The moment you detach from external validation, you begin to live for yourself, not for the world's applause. You also become more courageous. When you no longer fear judgment, you take risks, speak your truth, and follow your own path. You no longer shrink to fit someone else's expectations. You stop waiting for approval to start, to change, or to dream. You begin choosing what feels meaningful rather than what looks impressive. And lastly, you gain emotional independence. You become someone whose peace cannot be easily shaken, even if people misunderstand you, disagree with you, or criticize you. You remain centered. You no longer react out of insecurity or seek comfort in others' opinions. You trust yourself. You rely on your own standards. You recognize that your worth is not up for negotiation. This is the true power of letting go of external validation. You reclaim ownership of your emotions. You reclaim ownership of your identity. You reclaim ownership of your life.